in at 6 feet tall, 215 pounds of bad bomb, hailing from St. Louis, Mo, by way of the Ohio State University, and now Hollywood, California, the CEO of the world's most dangerous website, BSO, is the Headline King Robert Littal.
The beat still knocks. Let me tell you something. There's a couple of online social media cults, and that's what they are. I'm not talking about the Indianapolis Colts. I'm talking about Colts with a U. Cults. There are certain cults that you never, ever, 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 ever want on your back, that you want at your neck, that you want at your head. Stephen A. Smith found that out. I've heard Stephen A. Smith say wild stuff for the last 20 years. 20 years. I've seen him get in trouble for some of the things that he said. I've seen him double down on a lot of things that he said. But I've never in my life seen a man backpedal as fast as he did when he got the Rihanna Navy, the Riri Navy on his head. My man was backpedaling like Deion Sanders in his prime. Looked like Night Train Lane, the way he was backpedaling and fumbling over his words. Now, did he say anything wrong? No. He did something that you just can't do in 2023. He gave his opinion. See, here's the thing about giving your opinion. Is it's fine. And Stephen A. even said it himself that he should know better because he has a spotlight on him. See, when you don't have a spotlight on you, can say whatever you want to say, whenever you want to say it. Who cares? Nobody knows you. When you have a spotlight on you, really got to think about what you're saying. And also, you got to think about the audience that you're speaking to. See, he's out, I believe, promoting his book, his memoirs or something. So he's going on these different shows. Good Morning America. And I think he was on Howard Stern. He's on all these different shows. And he went on the Sherry Shepherd show. You know, Sherry Shepherd, I believe, was on the Voice. Not The Voice. The Real. What's the other one? With Whoopi Goldberg. Whatever that show is. She was on one of those shows. The Real or whatever those shows are. R.I.P. to Barbara Walters, by the way. See, that's a totally different audience. So this is not the First Take audience. This is not you talking about the Cowboys and Kyrie Irving and KD. This is different. It's a different audience. And the Riri Navy is part of that audience. So they asked Stephen A. was he looking forward to, Rihanna, coming back and doing the Super Bowl show. And he responded the way that you would respond if you were just talking to like a bunch of people, like your friends or whatever, or maybe a bunch of people's in a bar, or like he was still on First Take. He used his Stephen A. Smith voice and said, I'm kind of excited, but she's no Beyonce. Now, did he have to say that? No, but he's an actor. He's a performer. He's looking for a good soundbite. So he probably thought it was funny. I'm sure he thought it was funny. It get a little such, she ain't no Beyonce. That's like saying, Aaron Rodgers is not no Tom Brady. You know what I mean? It's just like he talking to it like barbershop talk. Like First Take talk. But you can't do that. Because the Army, the Navy. The Navy got on his head. Quick. Had him in his little Sprinter van, giving apologies. And then I guess somebody tweeted out the apology from his team, and they didn't tweet it out the way he wanted to tweet it out, so he threw them under the bus. I'm sorry, Rihanna. I'm sorry. You're amazing. You're beautiful. So I'm so sorry. Navy, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. My man couldn't handle the heat. This is the guy that says wild stuff every single day. That's his job. Couldn't handle the heat. Could not handle the heat. So if you wonder, like, well, who can I talk about? Can we be honest? Am I gonna get canceled if I tell you who you can't talk about? Probably. Well, here's some people that you can't talk about. You can't talk about Taylor Swift. Okay. Obviously, you can't talk about Beyonce. You can't talk about Rihanna. Probably Adele. I did a couple of stories about Adele. Adele got a little army out there. When I said she was simping for Rich Paul, yeah, they got on my head. Adele got a little army. You gotta be careful with that. And let me say there's two other groups or three other groups that aren't celebrities that you can't talk about. I'm not gonna say it on here because y'all not canceling me. I've already they tried to cancel me like 17 times. I'm not gonna say. I just gonna say there's three other groups. There's three other groups that you cannot talk about. If you talk about those three, you're gonna have some problems financially and professionally. You could probably guess the three that I'm talking about. I can tell you right now, one of them is not black people. You can definitely talk about black people and not get in trouble. You see that every day. But there's three groups of people that if you just give an opinion, just an opinion, you're gonna be in big trouble. Can't give opinions anymore. Sometimes I watch like I was talking about this the other day. You watch some of these older shows like sitcoms and stuff like that, and you wonder how would they fit in 2023. Like I don't know what I was flipping through the channels. I was trying to find something, but whatever the case, I ended up on the Office, and Michael was talking to the episode was. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just watched like from one part to the commercial. And Michael was talking to like another lady in the office, and he called her the fake Pam, the better looking Pam. And he was saying some things. I'm like, I don't know if Michael can get away with this in 2023. There's some stuff on Seinfeld. I don't know if he can get away with that in 2023. Some of your best shows probably couldn't get made right now. Maybe that's why such TV is trash. You see what they did to the Scooby Doo? Now I'm far from someone that is like first off, I hate the term woke. Some white people don't took from black people and made it something that it isn't. So I'm not into woke Hollywood, anti woke Hollywood, Hollywood woke Hollywood anti woke. Like I don't really get into that. There are times I think that you forget or they forget that there's a reason it's called entertainment. Like you're here to be entertained. You don't necessarily want to be thinking too deep. I think that's why people initially liked the MCU movies. Wasn't too deep. Just give me some entertainment. Now I do think sometimes people take it a little too far. Like it's nothing wrong with a little inclusion. You swapping out a race or something like that. To an extent, that's fine. It's just, but then they overdo it. So you take Scooby Doo, okay? Now, anybody that's over, I don't know, what, 35, 30, 35, you grew up with some version of Scooby Doo. The original version, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, a pup named Scooby Doo, the Scooby Doo, movies. I believe Scooby Doo. It may have changed, but at some point I know that it was more episodes of Scooby Doo than like any other TV show like ever made. I think like The Simpsons and maybe have overtaken that. But at a certain point, there was more episodes of Scooby Doo out there for you to consume as a child, a teenager, than any show of all time. So it makes sense that maybe they want to reboot it for the modern times. I get that. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. I like you switch it up a little bit, but then they take it too far. Scooby Doo is not something that's supposed to be thought provoking. It's some teenagers running around chasing ghosts that end up being the person who it was when you first saw it. It's not supposed to be complicated. It's supposed to be entertainment. You're just supposed to be entertained. It's a talking dog. It's a talking dog. His best friend gets high. You got the IG model. You got the smart one, and you got the all American. You know what I mean? Now it wouldn't have bothered me if they just added a few little elements, but I don't even know what ethnicity Velma is. Shaggy's black. There's no Scooby Doo. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. They made Fred into MAGA. They made Daphne into like a mean girl. Like one of those that politician, what Marjorie or whatever her name is. They made her like a Fox News, like shut up and dribble mean girl. Fred is MAGA. He's like Donald Trump Jr. They made Velma a lesbian. Like, it's just too far. It's a kid's show. It's a kid's show. And if you make it for adults that used to love the show, you want to stick with the themes. Like, yeah, update it for the times. Maybe they can use like an iPhone to track some of these people. But what are we doing here? What are we doing? It's Scooby Doo. Is anything sacred anymore? If Scooby Doo is not sacred, is anything sacred anymore? And you're probably wondering, why is Rob talking about Scooby Doo? These are the things that interest me these days. Scooby Doo. I can't. How can you even have a show that's based off Scooby Doo character? I can't believe they made Fred MAGA. I like Fred with a little thing around his neck, what Oxnard or whatever that is. Ashcoff, whatever that thing is. If you watch any of the Scooby Doos in the past, Fred is, the one that comes up with the plan. He's the one that is seeking out the clues. He's the leader of the group. Yeah, he's white. Okay. Just because he's white, you don't have to make him MAGA. It's all right. Listen, I understand. There's a lot of them, but not every white guy is MAGA. Not every good-looking girl is an idiot. Is dense and self-absorbed. Not everyone. Not every character has to be lesbian. You don't have to make these radical changes. Could have just made a good Scooby-Doo cartoon. That's all I'm saying. I got the inside scoop on Lamar Jackson. You know what's funny about Lamar Jackson? I've been watching football as long as I can remember. One of my first memories, I swear, in life was sitting on my grandmother's couch begging to stay up to watch Dan Marino and the Dolphins play I believe they were the Oakland Raiders back then. Maybe. They might have been the Los Angeles Raiders back then on Monday Night Football. Begging my grandmother to let me stay. I was maybe like 6 years old. Begging. And it's funny, I've watched football for that long a period of time. Until Josh Allen came along, you would never see the stats combined. Like you would see it in college because a lot of college QBs, especially in the 90s and 80s and 90s, 70s, you would see the combined rushing and passing and touchdown totals. All of a sudden, when Josh Allen came, they started combining everything. And it's funny, the one stat that was like hilarious to me, okay, was they were talking. It may have been like they were talking about something about like combined like yards and touchdowns like in the first 5 years of a career or something like that. And like Josh Allen has this much, this many, and second was Dan Marino. And I looked up Dan Marino was like rushing totals. It's like 5 yards and one touchdown in like 5 years. So now all of a sudden they putting it together. They didn't want to do it when Lamar was the MVP. He had like something like 50 combined touchdowns or something like that, 45 or something like that. Now all of a sudden it's combined yardage. But I've been telling people this for years. I've been telling people this for years. And now it's coming full circle, and I'll explain it a little more here shortly. But I told people for years, I said the age of the drop back, unathletic quarterback is coming to an end. And when I said that, people just assumed that I was talking about black quarterbacks. But I was like, no, 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 no. Like, everybody can't run like Michael Vick, but you don't have to. But if you have been watching college, for whatever reason, is kind of backwards, or like always a little bit ahead of the pros as far as innovation. But when colleges start going to that read option, that spread offense, where now the quarterback was a good thrower, but he also could run. So he could run like they did in the 90s with Tommy Frazier, but they could throw like they do in the 2000s. You combine that together, and now you got this whole crop of quarterbacks. But here's the thing that trickles down to the high school level too. You ever seen Peyton and Eli's boy? Not boys. Their what is it? Nephew Arch. He be running. That boy can run. Now Peyton couldn't run, but their daddy could. Their brother could. Their brother was a wide receiver. And Arch out there running. He's white. Your stand-up quarterbacks, statues in the pocket, that time is over. When Matt Ryan is probably going to retire. He was one of the last ones. You really got like Brady, and that's it, really. And Brady's an anomaly. And even then, it's becoming a liability. You can't get out the pocket. So you think about right now, you think about the quarterbacks that are left in the playoffs. Just think about it. Got Patrick Mahomes, obviously someone that is mobile when he needs to be. Doesn't mean you just out here running crazy. It just means when you need to be, you can use your legs in the pocket and out of the pocket. You got Josh Allen. Enough said. You got Joe Burrow. People don't forget, Joe Burrow ran a good amount when he was at LSU, and now that his knees feeling better, he can move around that pocket when he needs to. It's not just a sitting duck back there. You got Vanilla Vic, right? Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, who at this point his legs are probably more dangerous than his arm. You got Dak Prescott, who doesn't run as much since his ankle got turned inside out, but can move when he has to. Not a sitting duck back there. You got Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's always, like I said, you won't be confused with Michael Vick or Colin Kaepernick, but he can move a bit. You got Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, obviously a running threat, a passing threat. This is the new age of quarterback. Now, because Josh Allen is in it, they're going to act like, black quarterbacks didn't pave the way for this. But that's the truth of the matter. These are the quarterbacks. Did I leave anybody out? Buffalo. Jacksonville. Yeah, Sunshine. Trevor Lawrence. 6'6", can run. I seen Trevor Lawrence. We whooped them, Ohio State that is, in one semifinal game. But in another one, we were winning. We were up Trevor Lawrence brought Clemson back, not with his arm. He was terrible passing that game with his legs. I seen him outrun 4 or 5 star recruits in our secondary. Sunshine can run. This is the new age. So when you see people say Lamar Jackson can't pass, Lamar Jackson has a season with 36 passing touchdowns. You know who doesn't have a season ever with 36 passing touchdowns? Kirk Cousins. Joe Burrow. So don't say Lamar can't pass. And that was with limited attempts. Before he got hurt, the last 2 years, he was on schedule for about 30 passing TDs in each season. Man can pass. Ironically, he was hurt in the pocket. I don't think he's going to get $230 million guaranteed because I've been told that the NFL owners are really upset at the Browns for doing that for Deshaun Watson, and that's just not going to happen because owners like to have leverage. If they start giving out these crazy guaranteed contracts, that dam is going to break and you can never close it back up. But I think he'll get close to 200. I think he's going to stay in Baltimore. I think they're going to work it out. I think they're going to get an offensive coordinator that is going to be creative. Let him air it out a little bit. Get him a receiver or two that can help him out. Don't underestimate, like, Hollywood Brown wasn't, Jerry Rice, but he was quite better than anything that they had. And it showed. So I think he gets $200 million guaranteed in some shape, form, or fashion. There may be some injury guarantees. There may be some bonuses and all of this other stuff because you can never trust the NFL contract until you really dig into it. But I think he's going to stay with Baltimore. And it's going to be tough out in the AFC. It's a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of good teams out there. Mahomes already has one. So he's probably good because normally you get your one. They can never say that you didn't have any. It's like Aaron Rodgers, been around for like 90 years. He got one. Okay. Drew Brees was around 900 years. He got one. You got to get at least one. If you're Josh Allen, if you're Lamar Jackson, if you're Justin Herbert, if you're Trevor Lawrence, if you're these young guys, Jalen Hurts, Danny Dimes, Dak Prescott, you got to get one. Then you're set. You're set if you can get one. My guy, TJ Holmes, was getting it in at Good Morning America. I think this is the third lady. This lady's chocolate milk. So off the milk, yeah. And did he have an open marriage or was he just a cheater? Oh, just a cheater. It seems like all of this was consensual. So I'm trying to figure out, exactly why his job is in jeopardy. I understand it's a scandal. So they're going to have to pay him one way or the other to go away. Because you just can't fire somebody if, I guess, the relationships are consensual and they don't have any type of specific rule against it. Like, nobody's ever went to HR and said, hey, he did X, Y, and Z to me. Like, nobody's reported anything and nobody said he did anything wrong. And everybody was like, yeah, I was down with it. Then why is the brother's job at risk? Nobody's saying that he's a good husband. And he's probably going to cheat on the white girl, Amy Roback. I don't know how she thinks that he won't cheat on her. If he's cheating on his wife with you, and you knew he was cheating multiple times with other people, what makes you think you're different? He may be cool for now, but eventually you're just going to end up in the same situation as the wife or the other mistress. But should the brother lose his job? I don't know. I don't think so. Like I said, was there anything that was, not above board? Everybody seems down with it. Obviously, Amy was down with it. Is there something that, that ABC where they say you can't have relationship, you force anybody to do something that they didn't want to do? Doesn't sound like it. I know they're investigating. I don't know if you can. This was like off hours too at the bar. Can you really regulate what a brother does at the bar? If he likes milk, chocolate milk, caramel milk, vanilla lattes, can you really, in the end, can you really? Yeah. I don't think you can really do much. You got to pay him. If you want him gone, you got to pay him. My question is, he's gonna get paid, but can he get another job? See, brothers, so that's the thing. That Amy Robach can get another job easy. She's a white woman. And it's harder for brothers. They don't like to give us multiple chances. We're like college. We're like one and done guys. They don't like to give us multiple chances. It's not fair. But you see white guys and white women getting multiple chances after all type of crazy stuff. We don't really get it like that. We're really not allowed to make mistakes. It's one of the tough things about being a black person in anything. Your margin of error is so small. So small. And then you have to deal with the situation where then black people themselves, they won't help you. They don't help you because, they're fighting for their own situation, or they don't help you because they look at you as you're out the way and now they can take over. So you got like a double whammy. See, white people mess up, other white people come and help them pick them up. Don't worry, Bill. We find a spot for you. Black people fall down, other black people just step on them. Step on them like they're homeless. It's a sad situation in our society, but it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. So, I hope the brother, as long as he, do anything illegal, I hope he gets paid and I hope he gets another, job. Because, like I said, being a bad husband shouldn't cost you your career. Dr. Umar put an interesting letter on social media. It was a letter from Brett Favre lawyers telling him not to destroy any content, videos, tweets, Instagram posts, YouTubes of him speaking about Brett Favre robbing the poor people of Mississippi to get his daughter a new volleyball court at his alma mater. Mississippi State, I believe. I think it was Mississippi State. Could be a different one. I don't know. Some college in Mississippi. I find that interesting because you would think that Brett Favre lawyers would have something better to do than to go after Dr. Umar. I don't think that's the right. I don't know who's advising Favre. I don't think that's the right move. Mainly because you don't really have a case. If the case is defamation, you would have to prove that what he's saying is untrue. And there's a lot of text messages and emails that clearly state there's lawsuits that clearly state that's what people believe he did. So, yeah, don't think that's going to happen. But even more, it's Dr. Umar. He's going to use everything for attention. So now he just has more stuff to talk about. Now he's just going to talk about you more, keep you in the loop, keep you in the news. And I know a lot of people we don't talk about Brett Favre enough. They talk about Kyrie, they talk about this and that. That's probably true. That's probably true. But once again, he's white, so I don't know what you actually expect. I don't know what you expect. Now, I have to be honest with you. I don't know what you expect. It's Brett Favre. He's been getting away with stuff for years. All these guys get away with stuff for years. For years, they get away with stuff. That's just the kind of the way it is. Just being honest with you. Just being real honest with you. People ask me all the time, what do you think of Dr. Umar? It's a fair question. I kind of answer the same way that when people would ask me about Kevin Samuels and things of that nature. First off, I really don't like that people celebrated somebody dying. Like, unless you're like a terrorist or something, maybe you murdered like 6 kids or something like that. I don't think you should ever get like joy out of someone's death. Like, I don't know if I necessarily believe in karma per se, but because the reason I don't necessarily believe in karma because bad people a lot of times come out on top. But I think I have to draw the line on celebrating someone's death that you didn't like on social media because he said some stuff on YouTube. That's a little much. That's a little much. I can understand being indifferent about it. Or, you don't like somebody, so, they pass away and you're like, huh. I'm just saying, when you actively are celebrating and throwing parties and dancing and stuff like that, that's a little weird to me. But just going back to Dr. Umar and people like him, it's life is, as I've said many times, it's not black and white. It's a lot of gray area. You can, well, in 2023 you can, but you're supposed to be able to agree with some things and disagree with other things. Agree with some things and disagree with other things. That should be okay. Should be okay to say, Rihanna's not Beyonce, or to say Beyonce's not Rihanna. Should be okay to say that, It should be okay to say, I agree with Dr. Umar when he talks about X, Y, and Z. I disagree when he talks about this. It should be okay. But alas, that's really not how it goes. That's not how it goes. You can't really say anything these days. You see what I'm saying? It's a weird thing. Like it's a cesspool, I guess is the best way to explain it. But you really can't say what you really think. There was a time on social media where it was okay. You can say some stuff, people would disagree with you, you argue about it, but then everybody kind of went about their day. And there wasn't much else to it. You blocked the person, you didn't like the person, but that was it. But now it's a little different. Now you could say, I don't like peanut butter, and people be trying to find out where you work and get you fired. It's really sad. It's very sad, to be honest with you. Like I said, I like Stephen A. I don't agree with stuff that Stephen A. says. A lot of it, some of it, maybe half. I don't know, but some of the stuff I do agree with. Uh, I don't know. Like, I don't think you should even. There was no reason to add Beyonce to your thoughts about Rihanna doing the halftime show. But also, I wasn't like up in arms about it. I wasn't losing any sleep about it. I went, everybody's so angry. Everybody's so angry, like the Hulk. Why is everybody so angry? I feel like that's what everybody's just, especially online. I feel like it's just everybody's just real angry, really just mad. What was it? When I saw, and it's sad because sometimes I gotta turn off, not turn off, but just step away from the app. It was something about. Oh, I remember. It was Angela Bassett. I think she got nominated for a Golden Globe. I know they pushing her for an Oscar or something for her portrayal of Black Panther. She was really good. She was good at that. And I think it was Halle Berry. Halle Berry was like, great job, Queen. You're an inspiration to all of us, and blah. Just normal, nice congratulations between two black women. Some guy came out of nowhere and he was like, yes, and I like Halle Berry. You had to do this with a white man and act like a crackhead to get her thing. Angela Bassett, then it was a class. God, no, like, why are you so angry? Why is that even necessary? Why are we so angry? Is it because you're broke? I mean, what is it? Why are people so upset all the time? Why are people so mad? Why everybody snap? I remember what did I say? I said something yesterday. I was like, I was just talking to a guy, and I was like, the Bucks offense was really never the same. When that since Antonio Brown left to be a rapper. And I know your brain. I know what you're trying to do. Something trying to be messy. Like, hey, brother, just making an observation. I know who you are. I know what you're trying to say. I'm trying to be messy. Calm down, brother. It's not that serious. Why are we so angry? Why are you so mad? Listen, I know it's been snowing and raining and all type of stuff, but try to be happy this weekend. I think it's gonna be sunny, maybe in some parts of the country. Just be happy. Watch your football games. Hopefully, your coach, whichever team you're rooting for, won't pull a Brandon Staley. Just be happy. Have some wine or beer if you. Spend some time with your family. Go walk your dog. Go watch The Last of Us. BMF. I heard the menu. I heard that movie's good. I'm gonna try to watch that. Put your pajamas on. Put your feet up. Just have a relaxing week. Put the phone down. Turn off the laptop. Just put on some ocean sounds. Just enjoy yourself. Just be happy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I appreciate you listening. Be sure to subscribe to Headlines with Robert Littal on all of your podcasting networks. Check out the site, blacksportsonline.com, for all the topics that we talked about today. You can follow me on Twitter at BSO, Instagram and YouTube BSOTV. You can check me out on TikTok, Robert Littal BSO, and be sure to like our Facebook page, Black Sports Online. And for all of you that's been rocking with me for almost 20 years now, with Dollars for life.